Let me tell you a story about the Wild West.
Do you like survival builders? Do you like Dynasty games? Do you like the West? Is Wild West Dynasty a game that you should be picking up in early access? Well, we'll give you a spoiler-free heads up on that with this, our latest early access initial thoughts, or EAIT.
Loss out of nowhere.
Just as a heads up, for transparency, we didn't pay for this one, we did get a review copy, so no bias there. We don't get any commissions or knock-ons if anyone does pick it up. It's an unbiased review of my thoughts of this game in its current form.
Come here.
As with all EAITs, we've got our main components. What was good about it? Where are the opportunities? Some tips if you wanted to dive in, again spoiler free, and then our thoughts in conclusion. So, what is Wild West Dynasty? If you've played other survival craft or builder games before, Minecraft, Ark, Rust, to a degree, you're going to have a pretty good idea. Especially if you've played other Dynasty series games, such as Medieval Dynasty would be your closest reference. Like all survival craft builder types, food, stamina, water, these are all integral to your ability to move around the environment. And as you build new buildings and gain access to new areas and materials and technologies, your life becomes easier and you can start to do more ambitious things. That in a Wild West setting. Obviously, like every one of these survival crafted builders, there's a unique element that makes that game what it is, and the Dynasty series is that dynasty building, the settlements, the crafting, the expansion, getting settlers and villagers to join as you become more advanced and grow larger. I mean, they describe it themselves as cowboys, settlers, and gunslingers. Building your own ranch, growing it into a settlement, and soon more people will join you on your quest for happiness and prosperity. Will you manage to build a Wild West Dynasty?
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
And the trailer definitely emphasizes those components, that contrast between construction and happiness and, well, gallows. Not much of that in the game though. We'll get to that in opportunities, but for now, let's have a bit of a look about what's really good already.
A story about survival.
Right out of the bat, one of the really good things is the aesthetic. It actually looks like the Wild West, and you can see what they've done with the terrain is really smart. Between some of these dark red, heavy overbearing canyony type areas versus some of the slightly lusher greens, but still you feel like you're in the West. The visual tones, color palette used is really well done, and the buildings fit right in with that, which is an absolute boon to this game. Some city. Another nice little touch, especially for those that have done Medieval Dynasty in the past and like that franchise, is actually having the city limits so that you've got the city that you've built on the map. You can name it, you could potentially do other things with it in the future as the game comes out, which is a really cool little detail that I'm excited to explore a little bit more. And this seems like a little bit of a nifty one, but it's the Wild West, and we've all seen Westerns. They have, you know, hip holsters, one rifle with a lever action. It's all exciting, and what's really cool is how they've set up the hotbar for that exact experience. You only have your two weapons, your pistol on its holster, the rifle on your back.
About freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want. About hopes and dreams.
Alright, this is where the lion's share of this EAIT is going to be, and that's opportunities. There's a few. Alright, first, this is probably the biggest one because it's technical. I don't know how it's occurred, and it absolutely drove me spare throughout my entire playthrough. If you have a dual monitor setup, for some bizarre reason, in window borderless, full screen, it doesn't matter what setting you seem to set up, the mouse, if you move it too far across, it just leaves the game and enters your second monitor. I don't know why it does this, and you won't notice it until you go to click something. So you'll still move around the game freely, but the second you click, it'll kick you out of the game to your desktop. Numerous times this occurred. I'm just very lucky I wasn't in combat, because that would have sent me spare if that got me killed. I don't know why that's still in the game at this stage. I don't know how that doesn't come up in quality testing. Oh my god. Okay, there is another issue that happens, and this is actually driving me nuts. For some reason, the game doesn't always keep the mouse inside the game. So if you've got two monitors, this is why I keep doing like weird shit. if you've got two monitors, the mouse drags over to the left, and when you left click, it kicks you out of the game. That is going to get me killed, and I'm going to go f***ing nuts. Yeah, right now. Oh my god, that's literally what it is. It doesn't keep your mouse in the game. It doesn't keep your mouse in the game. My mouse is currently on my second monitor. Oh my god. And I can't axe a kid to death. GG. Who f***ing made this game? Yeah, like I said, spent 20 minutes ranting about this. The only issue I've got, and this is very specific to this, why can't I open my inventory now? Yeah, I have zero clue what quest marker is there. So that's like another frustrating thing. I literally don't know what's going on. I have no clue. It just says quest info. Probably the next one would be map markers. This was a bit of a constant source of frustration too. The amount of quests that we had and we couldn't remove markers, I was constantly looking at the map or looking at the compass just going, let's pick a diamond and run and just hope it's the right way. Really bizarre that you can't just remove, add, or tweak so that you can sort of figure out what's going on. Or if you look at it on the map, at the bare minimum, if you're going to have a marker, please tell me what it's for. Or just don't have them and let me have a description of a grid location or some other mechanism of finding my way. But just having all these markers with no information stamped over the map was confusing and frustrating. Map markers. There's no excuse for that. That map marker thing drives me absolutely ballistic. That annoys me to no avail. Different colors, having optional, like I just really hate that. If I don't have it selected, it shouldn't be there. And it's like, oh, but you could, for example, where's one where I need to go somewhere? Find the doll. If I make that my red one, see, the red still stays mains. I have no clue. Like, is that just not find the rock samples? Nah, so yeah, no matter what, they're just convoluted. You can't get rid of them. Like, that I find beyond frustrating. That blows my mind. I'm going to be quick on this one. It's been talked about a lot. Optimization. You'll see it's very juddery, very framey, which is a bit unfortunate for a game that's, you know, got a launch price of $36 Australian. Really strange how poorly optimized it is. Constantly juddering, constantly moving in and out. I mean, even just going into your settings became a mission, where certain settings didn't appear, movement bars didn't appear, the render distance was phenomenally impactful on the experience, both in a positive and negative way. It looked great when it was there, but it made a bad problem with optimization much worse, which is kind of frustrating, because when you did max it out, it does look quite nice. But yeah, so far, it just feels like a poor man's medieval Dynasty. When I look at this render distance, man. This is atrocious. And it still runs like a piece of shit. And that's on high quality. Sorry? Oh, it starts on graphics, okay. Vegetation draw distance, 70. Let's go to 250 and see if it absolutely f***ing shits itself. Watch it crash. Alright, we'll save. See, look at that. That looks way better. That looks way better. Look at that. There's still a bit of a pop delay. So if you turn fast enough. And look at this. Yeah, it's still... So you can see it in the very far distance. Oh, the frames. So it looks a lot better. What was poor frames before disintegrates into... I'm going to actually bring the render distance all the way back down. I now see the problem. Okay, this is so... I see why they went to early access now. If this wasn't early access, I would be fucking mad. So look at this. See how there's no scroll bar? Gameplay, graphics. Wow, look, now there's a scroll bar where it was because the game just can't function, apparently. Let's enable fog. You know what? Okay, once you've enabled it, it's stuck. I cannot disable fog. We will now permanently have Medium fog. If I just escape, maybe it doesn't save. Okay, it didn't save. We're good. What's a thunder mug? Okay. This really annoys me. I don't understand this. It's a $36 early access game. The quality testing just doesn't seem to have been there. Spelling errors. The writing in quests. They're not lining up with barriers. Just lots of these attention to detail things that cropped up time and time again that really broke the experience, and it made it a little bit harder to get into, especially once you noticed one. It spiraled into noticing more and more and more because you've become aware of it. The experience and the immersion has been broken, and so you're just looking for the next issue. Very good. Is it in the barn? There's a typo in the thunder mug there. It has 2 N's. Who QA'd this game? Was there QA on this game? Because honestly, it just sort of reeks like they wanted the community to QA their game for them. The quest marker doesn't even hover on top of the character. Like, it sounds nitpicky, but once you start seeing one issue, you start seeing them all. Oh, jokes. The character model isn't actually attached to the character's, like, body. So the character's actually there under the marker, but the model is, like, attached along that axis too far forward. People piss outside. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. So they've obviously used the exact same thing for each of the thunder mugs. You can see it's spelled correctly above me, 1 N, and above the models, it's got 2 N's. It's a really simple thing, and like, I really feel like no one replayed the tutorial when they went to launch the game. Oh man, it's so frustrating. Like they can't even get the text. This is so annoying. They can't even get look at the title. My tree, thigh tree, booze and snooze. The snooze is through the line. Like, they can't even do that. How are they ever going to do a game if they can't even get that right? This is a joke. Is the goal. Mom, can you hear me? Ah, there you are. You are alive. I am. That's how I'm speaking to you. There is way too much reading, and the writing is not the most engaging I've ever seen. Either if we could cut it down and just keep it simple, or if we could make more interesting characters and dialogue, either option would be pretty good. But at the moment, like, I think I put it up quite best when I was in the game. I wanted to buy a Wild West book, I would have bought one. I bought Wild West Dynasty, so I want to build my village, grow my family, build my dynasty, explore this map, fight to survive in the Wild West. Not read about thunder buckets and Bob that likes standing under a tree because lightning struck near it once, and my uncle who just really wants to get down an elevator. If you're going to keep it simple, just keep it simple. We don't need pages of dialogue to explain, can you please fix this elevator? Or, I really want you to chop down that tree next to Bob, because it really annoys me that Bob hasn't left that tree in a month. Okay, I'll just go chop down the tree. Like, it doesn't. Hey. What's the task? Oh my god. Why is there so much text? Basically, there's a redstone around. Sandstone known as brownstone with reddish hue. It's used for building. Your employer wants some of it. Okay. It's just integrity, man. And look, we're still only 2 hours in. These are big games. Hopefully, like, it picks up. But, yeah, that initial 2 hours has been very, very underwhelming, which is just... It's just unfortunate. I literally couldn't even care with what this is saying. Just let me fix the elevator. Look at all this text, man. No one's gonna read this. Yeah, okay. After all that, go talk to someone. Sick, bro. And it sucks, though, because I want to get into it, but it's a novel. It's a fucking novel, man. No one's reading that. We're here to build and recruit people and hunt and survive and maybe become a bandit. Maybe not become a bandit. I'm not here to read a fucking Wild West novel. If I wanted to read a Wild West novel, I'd buy a fucking Wild West book. It doesn't need to be convoluted. If you're going to give that much text, you have to get me interested first. I can admit when I'm wrong. See, alright. You know what? It's really annoying when you've got games like Medieval Dynasty that have such rich audio. When you've got games like Sengoku Dynasty on the horizon, and there's something in the conclusion about this, where you can see the amount of effort and time and love that's been put into the audio experience in that game. Where is the sound? It's gone. It's not here. It's infuriating. And it got to the point where I felt uncomfortable playing because it was so weird. I felt like I was in a quiet room. I thought I was in trouble. There's no wind, no birds, no animals, no water, no anything. It's dead silent. And the reality is, it gets a bit uncomfortable. Alright, where's that star? There it is, this way. This game's cool. Do you know the other thing that I've just noticed? Dead silence. There's no birds, there's no animals, there's no wind, there's no ambience, there's no music. It's fucking dead silent. To the point where it's eerie. I'm actually uncomfortable playing this. The next negative is audio cues. We're in game right now. There is not a single thing. When I start moving, okay, so the audio is working. Otherwise, no birds, no wind, no nothing, no water. The water is dead silent. When I go to drink, no audio for the drinking. I just drank. Like, it ruins any attempt at immersion, takes you completely out of the game. I loathe it. That's probably one of my biggest issues, is actually the audio element. There's an entire piece of the game just completely missing. Not needs fixing, it's just not there. Right, tips. This is a really easy one. There's only one, because there's not much going on, unfortunately, in this early access version at the moment. There's beer. There's beer at the beer quest. Play the clip. Be aware of it. I wasted too much of my life on this. Clip. These guys all look like they sell shit, so... Do you have 30 cents for a beer? Let's just to be safe, let's just buy 4 fucking beers. I look forward to fixing the elevator, going downstairs, and having an amazing experience downstairs. If I get to the elevator and that part of the game isn't finished, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, alright, yeah, jokes. Oh, wow. He got drunk. We all know, like... And you can't talk to him, he just...
All of you!
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
Just stands there. Okay, that's cool. There's beer. You know why I'm so fucking mad about that? You know why that just set me off? Look at this. See this? That's an axe. Can't pick it up. That's a rope. Can't pick it up. That's a bucket. Can't pick it up. That's a redstone. Can pick it up. Nope, can't pick it up, but I can pick up the normal stone. Oh, that's a log. Can't pick it up. Nothing. Every single thing in this entire fucking area is a set piece. That's an axe. Can't pick it up. Nothing in here is interactable. I can't even open that door. Nothing. Yeah, teapot, kettle, every single thing here. But then they've just chucked 2 beers that you can't fucking see on a box next to there. I mean, I guarantee, and this will make me even madder, somewhere in that text, they probably say, oh, just borrow one of our beers, it'll be funny. They're on the box over there. I don't even care. I'm not...
The story about revenge. This is not what you expected.
When it comes to the conclusion, you might be expecting, after the amount of opportunities, that I've got a bit of a negative outlook, but actually, it's a bit different. This is one of the worst early access games I've ever played. With the most potential I've ever seen. And what I mean by that is, I have spent a lot of hours in Medieval Dynasty, and I have thoroughly enjoyed my time there. But I had the benefit of finding Medieval Dynasty well along in its development. And I now get to enjoy the benefits of all the trials and tribulations that they've had to go through. And by no means is Wild West Dynasty lacking in terms of what they're trying to accomplish. You can see the seeds of a Dynasty game in there. I see the building mechanics, the city naming, the world starting to come together, the amount of love that's gone into what we can see of the map. Wish there was more of the map. But it's not there yet. And the reality is, with the amount of issues in optimization, quality, audio, detail, content, the lack of actual dynasty-ness that is in this current version, as much as I love the franchise, I just couldn't really recommend it at this stage in its current format. There's a reason it's got the reviews that it does, versus Medieval Dynasty that has the reviews it does. And that's sort of where it comes to. I think this is one to watch, one to wishlist, one to wait and see. Because down the road, if it ever gets to the level that I would love to see it of Medieval Dynasty, it's Medieval Dynasty in the Wild West, which is what I wanted when I booted up the game. You're gonna have a blast. Keep an eye on this, don't sleep on it. But not full price. Not today, anyway. TLDR, pick this game up now. Nah. Medieval Dynasty. Wishlist this. Wishlist Sengoku. Wait and see for both. But today, if you want this experience, Medieval Dynasty, and just accept that there weren't many guns back then. But don't worry, you're not missing out on much. In my 3 hours, I had a revolver with no bullets and never found any indication of where, how, or when I might be able to come into some. So I don't think you're missing out on shooting either way. Completely honest, the reality is it's so similar to Medieval Dynasty that I expected, even in early access, the game to just honestly be better than what it is. But yeah, there's work to be done.
Then write your own story. Wild West Dynasty. Your world. Your rules.
Really fucking quickly. Thank God for that. Maybe in a year or two.